what is up? It is Snitchery. How you doing? I really vacillated actually on whether I even wanted to make a video about this at all because as you can read from the title, this is like a pretty personal subject. It has to do with surgery and my body and my choices that are certainly going to come under criticism from like strangers on YouTube, and especially when it's a choice I've already made and that I'm already so fucking happy about. I wasn't sure if I wanted to open myself up to those critiques, but ultimately when I was looking into getting this procedure done, one of the most helpful things I found was to watch other people's videos on YouTube about what they had done. And I had something done that there aren't many videos about. So as you could tell from the title, I had a boob job done about a month ago. This is something I've talked about wanting to get done on my channel before. I talked about it like a year ago now. And because of the panoramic, I had to wait until really recently. But I did just end up going through with the procedure. So I wanted to let you guys know the good and the bad and the ugly in case this is something you end up wanting to do for yourself in the future, or if you're just curious. So before that, if you've never seen my face before and you're ever interested in seeing my face again, feel free to subscribe down below. We would love to have you. I'm actually, this is a complete non sequitur, I'm going to be starting a brand new series on my channel, my very first like real series, where I'm going to be doing get ready with me's, but with an art history twist. I think we're going to do it in a really fucking cool way. Oh, if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for joining me on this little video journey. It means the world. If you like when I get a little bit more personal on here, go ahead and like this video and I will know to talk about stuff like this in the future and not have to vacillate about it for weeks. So, hi guys, editing Snitch here. I'm not a big fan of disclaimers normally on most videos, but I feel like this one kind of warrants one. I want to make it very clear that when I'm talking about my own body and my perceptions of my body, that I'm really only speaking exclusively about myself. In no way am I promoting my own choice to other people or promoting surgery or saying it's like a fix. It was just something that I wanted to do that's made me feel a lot better and a lot happier. It was simply a decision for me that I'm telling you guys about. Okay. I have a video on my channel from a long time ago, I look really different, where I talked about wanting to get my boobs done. A lot of people, at least in my personal life, were surprised when I said I wanted to do that, especially because I was very communicative about the fact that I didn't want them to be bigger. I'm like a tall, slim person. A lot of you guys think I'm very short, but I'm 5'8" and I am like thin framed, so, and I'm assless. I'm fucking assless, like no ass to speak of. I'm like a little long back, so I definitely didn't want to intentionally build myself like the letter P. Like I was very avoidant of that idea. So if I didn't want to get them really any bigger, you might be asking, why would you want a boob job in the first place? I mentioned that I am on the thinner side, and this is also something I've talked about on my channel before, but in 2019, the end of 2019, something happened with my stomach while I was on a trip, and I couldn't eat like a bite of food over this 3 days on the trip. Just any food, the smell of food, everything would gross me out. Anytime I lied down, I would get really nauseous, and it just kind of never got better. I mean, from that point forward, for about 8 months to a year, it was really difficult for me to sort of keep food down. I had very little appetite. When I first got sick, I lost around 40 pounds over the course of a couple months. Thankfully now I've gotten it figured out, gone to see specialists. I'm really young, and 40 pounds, while I mean it's definitely a lot of weight, it was not like a hugely substantial amount of weight, so I didn't have loose skin anywhere or anything like that, except on the biddies. I had never had like perky boobs, like just to be completely honest with you guys. Growing up, even in like middle school and high school, my boobs like did not look like other people's. I mean, if it sounds like I'm describing your boobs right now, like I do want to be clear and kind of give, not even a disclaimer, but just make sure that you guys know that when I'm speaking about my own body, I'm speaking exclusively about my own body and my own perceptions of it. But anyway, I just never had perky boobs. My weight fluctuated a lot in high school, especially. By the time I lost that final 40 pounds and my weight was stabilized, they just never bounced back. I remember I used to go online and see other girls' boobs. Like for my own research, I would go online and like look up, there's a site called Normal Breast Gallery where you can like go and see people's boobs in like a non-sexualized context, just to like reiterate the fact that you are normal and all boobs are normal and bodies are just different. And I would search through these results and some of them kind of looked like me, but for the most part I was like, I just do not have the boobs of like a 22-year-old. How old am I? Fucking 24. This is my first ever like surgical procedure. Unless something just dramatically changes, this will be the last one I ever get. I know there are going to be quite a few comments just from people who don't know me or do know me and just hold this opinion that I got this procedure done for other people. I think that's sort of that's the assumption when it comes to cosmetic surgery, that people, and women especially, get these things done to impress other people, men especially. I wanted to get this procedure done for myself in high school when I never dated before. I wanted to get this done when I was kind of dating in New York and LA, and I ended up going through with it and still wanting to get it done while I was in a monogamous relationship with my boyfriend, who mentioned that this is not something in any way he felt I needed. He was like, you are perfectly fine and beautiful the way you are. So it definitely wasn't that. If anything, I was getting pressure from people not to do this, and it was just something I wanted to do for myself and have wanted to do for myself for years. So with all that out of the way, the actual procedure itself, I know I'm gonna be already reading through a bunch of comments from people telling me about breast implant illness, from people telling me about the dangers of implants, how they can leak and rupture, and how you have to get them replaced. And these are all things I considered, which is the reason I did not get implants. I actually just got a breast lift. I was really stuck in the middle between whether I wanted implants or not, because when you look online and you look at some like fake boobs, like boobs with implants, they look amazing. I think there's a stigma that they're gonna look fake. So maybe some of them do. Really, by and large, not the case. Like, they look really good. And especially this upper pull fullness is what they call it. Like, this roundness at the top is what I was missing in my boobs because I had lost weight. They had sort of like deflated. Initially, I was pulling towards an implant, but when I went into my surgeon, and I'm not going to mention the name of my surgeon just because I don't want him to be inundated with messages. And also, he does work, like his practice is like fairly close to my town, so I don't want to be that specific. But if you live in the DC, Baltimore, Maryland, Virginia area and you are curious, you can send me a DM on Instagram and I'll let you know who it is if you're actually interested in getting this done. But anyway, I went into him and I was telling him about what I wanted to see and what I wanted from my results. After having this conversation, he was like, I think you just want perky boobs. And I was like, yeah. And he said, I don't think you want bigger boobs. It's like, no. So I took his advice and I ended up just going for a breast lift. The day of surgery itself, for some reason, I wasn't nervous. I guess because it was something I've thought about so much and for so long. I really had very little to no nerves when I actually went ahead and went to the surgical center because of COVID especially. I don't know if they would ever do the surgery in a hospital, but I was in just a surgery center. Before surgery, I had to stop like drinking alcohol. I had to get my prescriptions filled. I had a number of appointments with my doctor to let him know exactly what I wanted, and he could communicate exactly what I needed to do. I of course had to get a COVID test before surgery to make sure that I wasn't sick. Because of COVID again, I obviously had to go by myself, so I headed on in. They gave me a little nausea patch on the back of my neck behind my ear to help with the nausea from anesthesia, because this is general anesthesia. It's not like a local procedure. I think it took around 3 hours to do entirely, 2 or 3 hours, so it is a long and very intensive surgery. But everyone who worked there was literally amazing. The doctor, the nurses, the anesthesiologist. They gave me my little IV, which they had to do like here. I have so many tattoos, they couldn't put it anywhere else. And I remember being fully lucid in my gown, being taken back to the surgery room. Next thing I knew, I woke up in another room, no pain. After a couple minutes, a nurse came in and told me I could go ahead and get dressed, asked if I needed help. I was like, I'm literally good. I felt so weirdly awake. I got myself dressed. I started reading the book that I brought with me, just like sitting in the chair. And this is literally, I'm like covered in, I couldn't see what my boobs looked like because I had a surgical bra on. Well, I had gauze over the stitches, tape over the gauze, a surgical bra on, and then I was bound in like you know that stuff, the stretchy stuff. I was bound in that. So I couldn't see anything, but I also couldn't really feel anything. There was definitely some numbness up here and some tightness. They gave me a nerve blocker so that these muscles right here wouldn't be sore. My mom came and picked me up, just walked on inside and like kind of continued with my day. It was so weird because I kept expecting like the pain to hit me, but I was prescribed pain medication and I literally just never took it, just never felt like I needed it. The actual worst part of the recovery process was day 3 and 4. I became incredibly bloated. I'll put side-by-side pictures of the day before surgery and 2 days after surgery. Like, it is night and day. I gained around like 6 or 7 pounds of just fluid retention. I didn't ask my doctor about this specifically, but I looked it up online, and apparently a lot of the fluid from your chest, from what they're pumping into you, fall into your stomach and thighs. I mean, I looked pregnant. I couldn't move. It was uncomfortable to sit. That was literally the worst of it, but it was gone within the week. When I finally got to see what my boobs looked like without the gauze, without the surgical bra, I got to actually see them, I was so happy. So at least for me, when you first get a breast lift, they sit very high. They look kind of like bolt-on boobs. Like they're just very like, even then I was like, they look so good. Like even in that stage, I was just so happy to see, I think even just like a dramatic difference. My big worry was that I was going to go in, do this, and then see no difference, but it was a massive change immediately. I did have a little bit of muscle soreness up in here over the course of the next week, I'd say. A little bit of tenderness, which I still have around the incisions. Still wearing a sports bra or a surgical bra 24/7 to keep them in place. After that first 2 weeks, essentially, I was supposed to just start putting on scar gel and keep it moving. There was nothing else I needed to do to heal. If you end up going for no implants, the downtime, at least for me, was kind of like non-existent. And my surgeon did mention that that's the experience that a lot of patients have. So as far as scars go, this was something that, to be honest, I wasn't really worried about. I definitely looked them up and was like, yeah, those are scars, but it wasn't something that I was really concerned by. I don't really scar. Typically, it looks like it takes around 6 months for them to really fade, but like this is after 1 month. Now, I'm not gonna say they're like non-existent, like they're there, but you really can't see them. Literally every single day, it's getting so much lighter and so much flatter. At this point, I still have stitches in my incisions, which are causing it to be like a little bit lumpier, but those, as I'm massaging, will go away. So I'm hoping over the course of 3 months, those scars are pretty much gone. Genuinely is not something that bothers me, which is awesome. I didn't think I'd be able to say that, especially a month in, because this is around when the scars are starting to mature. It's not just cuts in your skin, so they're going to be the reddest, the most raised, the bumpiest, the angriest, and I'm just not. They stayed like this forever. Like I'm chilling. I'm so happy. I can't wear underwire bras for any like long period of time yet, but other than that, I'm cleared to exercise and cleared to do everything after a month. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to include in this video. Oh, the price. It costs around, I want to say $8,000. Definitely pricey. The lift is a lot more expensive than just getting an implant without a lift, because the reason for the scars is that they essentially reshape your entire boob. But I think you can even tell on this before and after, like where my rose tattoo sits versus where my boob sits. Such a massive difference. Definitely smaller, of course, because he took some skin away, but they look bigger just because they're sitting. I think that's all I have to say. I'll definitely update you guys on that 3-month period. If you have any questions, let me know down below. I would love to answer them. Again, if you like when I do these kinds of videos about like real things in my life, this, the boyfriend, all that good stuff, go ahead and like it so that I know. And thank you for being my friend today and always. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.